Welcome to Jack Colley's Black Book. This is episode 66, titled, When God Visits During Halftime. So I am joined here by Shadow behind me. He'll be kind of strolling in and out because he's causing trouble today. But we're going to take a look at the... Oh, he just saw himself. We're going to take a look at the first symbol that showed itself in the 13-minute halftime show of the Super Bowl. And that is in the person of Samuel L. Jackson. The starting point is always content. We see Samuel L. Jackson and we know two things. We know, number one, that it is Samuel L. Jackson, and we know, number two, that the persona he is putting on is that of Uncle Sam. At the beginning, when we first see this, we see darkness, and darkness represents chaos. These symbols are starting to blink, and we don't know quite what to do with them, but we've got a triangle that is upside down. Make a note of that. The triangle is pointed down, not up. That's going to be important in another episode. We also have a square, a circle, and I forget what the other shape is. Oh, a plus sign. Samuel L. Jackson is the first voice that we hear above the chaos. So here we have the first words that are spoken. And the first words that are spoken are akin to, let there be light. It sets the stage about what's going to happen. Let there be light. Better be prepared, because we are going to illuminate the chaos. The word that is uttered into the chaos is salutations, welcome. In other words, I am here. And this is the great American game. Now, something else as I unpack this is going to be important, because I'm going to be referring to yin-yang a lot, which is right behind me, yin-yang. This right here is chaos. The black side is chaos, and the white side is order. The black side we can say is feminine or potential, and we can say that the white side is order or it's male. It represents the tension when we blow it up and go even further into the sky and look down at this. It represents the tension between being a slave, which is yin, and being an oppressor, which is yang. Put another way, look at the tension between the African-American male and the United States government and its history. Put another way, so the symbolic Uncle Tom and the symbolic Uncle Sam. So now we've taken this symbol to the next level. This is a tension between a person whose ancestors were slaves and the United States government and its history. Why would we put slavery on the chaotic side? Why would we put slavery on the black side of yin-yang? It's because it's chaos. It's because it's oppression. It's because it's keeping an individual from becoming fully realized. This would certainly be the experience of a slave. And that opener is, welcome to the great American game, i.e., let there be light. Pay attention, something is going to happen. It was Carl Jung who talked about the collective unconscious. That is to say that everything I am came from my parents, at least biologically, at least in terms of my DNA, which is a Kendrick Lamar song. And their DNA came from their grandparents, and from their great-grandparents, and from the great-great-grandparents, and we can keep following it back. And in the Christian tradition, we can take it all the way back to Adam and Eve and original sin. Well, we only have to go back a couple hundred years to connect the ancestry of this symbol to slavery. And as much as people want to say it's 2025, we should just get over this and move on, we have got to understand we experience the residual effects of our ancestry. It's written on our genes, it's written on our DNA, that what happened to our ancestors still comes into play through our lives. So this is where I want to end, which you can do with any symbol, is I want to float way above it, and I want to ask the question, what is coming through the symbolism in terms of God? How can I say that God showed up at halftime? Among all of this chaos and this order and this fluctuation, every once in a while, God steps in, Samuel L. Jackson steps in and says, wait a minute, time out. Have you considered this? What I like about that is, to me, that portrays kind of the idea of God's voice of conscience speaking to us, kind of the angel and the devil on the shoulder. In other words, if you missed that God showed up at halftime, and this is an important driving force behind us as human beings with free will. Call it God, you can call it whatever you want. When it whispers in our ear, it's not telling us exactly what to do. It's trying to get us to make our own decisions about these things. It's speaking to our conscious level. It's that all quiet voice of God, when the fluctuation between yin and yang, when the chaos and the order stop, and God steps in and says, wait a minute, have you thought about this? And there's even the point where God shows up and says, Kendrick, do you know how to play the game? And I don't have this completely figured out, but I think that might be the equivalent of God saying, who told you you were naked? Who told you you were vulnerable? And what do you want to do about it now? The stage is set for all of these symbols to be unpacked, for us to understand our current experiences based on our past experiences, whether we were on the side of the slave or on the side of the oppressor. We all have things to learn from this 13 minutes. Namaste, my friends. See you next time.